Iyanla, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good.
Wonderful. It's so good to see you, and welcome here to the UK.
Thank you.
I know you are a regular visitor.
Yes.
What's it like for you on this particular occasion in terms of being here in the UK in these recessionary times? How does that make you think and make you feel?
Well, I'm not in a recession. Really, I'm not. I'm not in a recession because my source and my supply doesn't come from the world. So the only thing I think that I do now is I shop less often, but I still buy what I want. Yes. I go where I want, I do what I want.
Ultimately, we get to a stage where there's this saturation point where we look around ourselves and think, it's like, I don't really need anything else. I have what I need.
Yeah.
I buy through necessity, I buy
right.
groceries and so on. So it's important that we do recognize that also although there is this global recession, it's how we rise above that.
Yeah.
There's people out there who are genuinely struggling, and there are others who are doing quite well. However, it's how we approach the situation. I mean, Reverend T.D. Jakes said we need to maximize the moment.
Right.
We need to recognize where we are right now.
Well, I think the whole recession really isn't about spending or not spending. I think it's about us as a people, as a world, really, recreating the structures that govern our lives. I also think it's about us coming up with a new way, because we've been so greedy and so wasteful and so distorted in what we do. And now we're being forced to really look at what's important and what's not important and what we really must have to get along. And I really think this is a good thing. I really do.
There is a positive aspect about it. For example, you mentioned, I see it almost like a disconnect, where we've been driving along, believing that we're doing things for the right reasons, influenced by society, but we have also been disconnected from source.
Absolutely. Disconnected from source, which is why I said I'm not having a recession. And I have to say to people sometimes, just to show you how the mind works, oh, we're in a recession, everything is so horrible. I said, have you lost your job? They said, no. I said, do you still make the same amount of money you made last year? I said, yeah. Did you even get a raise? Yeah. Do you still live in the same place? I said, so you're not having an economic crisis in your life.
That's right.
Why are you in hysteria? And people have to actually say, they're right. Now, there are people who've lost their job, and there are people who have lost their homes, and particularly in the U.S. I don't know what it's like here. Really? And I say to people, you know what? The universe is hiring. And the universal bank is giving out loans and mortgage. The question is, what is your relationship with the universe?
Recognizing that, because we also need to, relate to the fact that we are living in a world, in a universe of abundant wealth.
That's right.
More than sufficient for all of us. But unfortunately, because we're governed, many of us, psychologically, emotionally, we're governed by societal influences.
That's how we've been trained.
Precisely.
Educated.
How do we unlearn some of these things?
Pain. You be in enough pain, you get clear. Pain will get your attention. Yeah. For me, that's what it was. The world, I wasn't a danger to myself. I wasn't a danger to anyone else. And, I could spell my name and tie my shoes at the same time. But I was suffering. I was out of I was crazy.
You felt the pain.
And to the world, I was fine. I was a lawyer and my children were raised and, I had been married and divorced. I had been through all the rites of passage. But I was suffering, looking for a pistol to blow my brains out. And there, baby.
It was that severe?
It was, yes.
Wow.
And so the world put me there, but the world couldn't get me out of there. Didn't even care that I was there. You know what the world tells you? Take thy meds, go forth and prosper.
I hear that. But how did you make your way through that?
Fell to my knees, put my face in the floor and say, God, help me.
Yeah.
Help me.
You were listening, clearly.
No, I was begging.
Yeah. But your ears were attuned because, you were begging, you were searching for that answer, that solution.
And I was vulnerable.
Yeah.
So in that moment of vulnerability,
It's really important.
that's when I could hear.
Yeah.
Because I had done everything that I was big enough, bad enough, and bold enough to do, and it wasn't helping me. So in that moment when I said, help me, oh God, help me, please. And God said, okay, sweetie, that's what I want you to do. You know what I said? Oh, that's too simple. Give me something hard.
You got to remember, you got to walk before you can run.
Yeah. And you know what God said? Trust me. Come to me. Lean on me. Ask me. Simple stuff. I don't really care about your degrees. I don't really care about your Jimmy Choo shoes. Trust me. Come to me.
There's something about
Lean on me. Ask me. I said, okay.
You said, okay. How did you really say it? What sounds did you make at the time?
I said, this is too easy. This is too simple. And then, then I got cute and I started giving God instructions.
On your terms.
Yeah. Okay, I trust you, but you got to do this. Or I trust you, but you got to do that. No, baby. If your way worked, it would have worked. Pay attention.
There's something about our time and God's time.
Oh, yeah.
And recognize that we need to, engage and release ourselves to that in order for us to flourish and go forward.
Well, time doesn't matter in the universe. It's all the same to God. It's all the same to the universal law and principle. But there's a maturation. And again, if we just look at nature. So last night, someplace in the universe, a child was conceived. A sperm met an egg. And right now, there's a natural process going on that will, 9 months from now, result in a new life.
That's right.
Well, yesterday, or last week, you had a thought that was infused with emotion. And a new experience was born.
Yes.
And that may take 9 days, 9 weeks, 9 months, 9 years to manifest. But it was conceived when your thought, your pure thought, connected with your pure emotion. That's called orgasm.
Oh, don't go there. I would also.
It's called conception.
there's something about faith, because so often we have these goals, with these dreams, these aspirations, and we want it to happen ASAP. There's something about that underlying thing that's called faith. When you trust, I believe I heard you say, you have this objective, this goal, this aspiration, and you don't need to know about time or how it's going to happen. Just trust.
If you have a strong enough what, the how will show up. The philosopher Nietzsche told us that. See, I don't say this to be arrogant or superior. I don't need faith anymore because I know. When you know, you understand, I know my name is Iyanla. I don't have to trust that people are going to call me Iyanla. I know my name is Iyanla. So faith is the first step, understanding that once I have this conception of my pure thought and my pure emotion, and I think it and I speak it and I align with it, that it will happen. That's when faith is required. Or that once I make an earnest request to my Creator, and it's for my highest and greatest good, and the highest and greatest good of everyone else, knowing that at some point this thing is going to manifest. Yes. That's faith. Now, there's another level where I know if I think it and speak it, it's going to happen.
It's the way you say it with passion and conviction, because you know
it's going to happen.
It's clear to see. How does a person make that transition from where they were in the wilderness to get to that place of faith and then moving on to knowing?
Be willing to have your faith tested.
That's where the pain comes in.
Yeah, we're not willing to have our pain tested. We want a testimony without a test. You got to have a test. Yeah. So let me give you an example. So Fifi, she could be anybody, meets Boo Boo, he could be anybody. So Fifi meets Boo Boo. Now Fifi wants to get married and have children, and she meets Boo Boo, and she sits around wondering, is he the one? Is he gonna marry me? Is he gonna, you know? But when you are centered and grounded, when your faculties and your facilities are all open and you're willing to be vulnerable, you don't look at Boo Boo and say, he don't make enough money, he don't drive the right car. I'm looking at Boo Boo because I want to know who he is. Yeah. So I want to know how he treats his mother. I want to know if he has other children, his relationship to them. I want to know his past relationships. Because if I know that, I want to know, is he on time? I want to know, does he do what he says he's going to do?
How do you get to that stage, though? Because often what happens in relationships is that there's this communication breakdown.
I don't need you to say a word.
You can just, it's through observation.
I'm looking at what you do. People show you who they are.
Actions.
And when they show you who they are, believe them. So if you're late, then I know that you are somebody, that doesn't honor commitments and doesn't live up to your word. I don't have to ask you nothing. I don't have to beg you, Boo Boo, please be on time because I want you to be the man that's going to marry me. No. I need to know, am I willing to marry Boo Boo, understanding that this is an individual that doesn't honor his word?
There's another perspective, if I may introduce this.
Yes.
And that is, you talk about observation. What about what we present outwards?
Yeah.
There's something about that in that, can that be used to influence and inspire?
Don't be fooled by appearances.
Talk to me.
I'm knowing because I am in the presence of God. You're in the presence of God. There's nothing God knows.
Yes.
And if God knows, I can know. So I'm looking at you. And if I feel it wrong, if I assess it wrong, if I experience it wrong, doesn't mean that I made a mistake and I need to slash my wrist. It means I need to fine-tune my antenna. And I said, okay, oh, boo-boo wasn't the one. All right, bye, boo.
Move on.
I'm not going to try to change you.
Yes.
So that you become you're not the one. But you taught me to sharpen my powers of observation.
That's what it's all about. Your powers of observation, there's another reference to that. It is often said that a person's sixth sense is their intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's how you can actually fine-tune that intuition and trust. Going back to what you said before, it's about
Right.
trusting. And, being prepared to go through that pain. If you experience the pain, so be it. It's a necessary part of the process.
It is. And how you strengthen that and grow that is your daily spiritual practice. You got to know the distinction between when God or the Holy Spirit of God is speaking to you and when you have gas. You understand? Because some people think the rumbling in their belly is a divine revelation. No, fool, you ate too much chocolate, you got gas. I don't have to wonder when God is speaking to me. And when I hear it, I'm obedient to it. I don't shift the channel. Okay, God said no.
Unconditional.
No. Let me tell you a funny story. So we're coming here to the UK, and my son, my assistant really, is supposed to travel with me. We were leaving on Thursday. Tuesday morning I woke up, and the Holy Spirit said, Damon's not going. And I said, okay. Now I have my 2 grandchildren with me. So I said, okay. I didn't ask, why? Oh, we got a ticket. So sure enough, here we come Thursday to leave. My son missed the plane. He's not here.
You didn't have that conversation with him before. That's extraordinary.
No, I didn't say a word. I don't have to tell you everything God tells me. I needed to just prepare myself to be here in the UK with 2 teenagers because my son wasn't going to make it. I didn't have to know why. I didn't have to know how. God said, Damon is not going. I said, okay. And he's not here. Missed the plane.
Faith, trust,
Knowing.
For me, that seems to be the stages: faith, trust, and knowing.
Now here would have been the mistake. The mistake would have been had I given him anything to do or relied on him to do anything I needed done about this trip. Because that wouldn't have happened, and then I'd be mad with him.
Sure.
And I would be upset, I'd be in a frenzy. God told me Tuesday he's not going. I didn't ask why. I didn't need to know. I just need to know, don't let me plan anything that's hindered on him. So now he's home gnashing of teeth and gouging of eye because he didn't make it to the UK to assist me. But I knew on Tuesday he wasn't coming.
Question for you. In terms of those people who are in your life, your associates, your family, your friends, do you ever see them going through that transition, but they're struggling?
Oh yeah, my son is going through it right now. That's what's wrong with him. I said, you are a minister. You are a teacher. You need to surrender your life. But he insists that he's going to be a reggae DJ. So go on with yourself then.
So therefore, there are people who are looking for that awakening, that spiritual guidance to connect with them, but they're resisting.
Oh, they resist it because we want to do it the way we want to do it. So I just pray for him. And they said, why isn't this working? You asking me, why isn't it working? Because you're a minister, you're a teacher, and you insist upon being a reggae DJ. You done lost all your money, so now maybe when you lose your home, your teeth, and your hair, you'll surrender.
You'll surrender. You are the most inspirational individual. I say that not only from my own perspective, but also from those thousands of people who bought your books, listened to your audios, and also visited your website, Innovisions. You are extremely inspirational. Recognizing that, do you see that as a massive responsibility?
No. See, you see me as inspirational. I see me as crazy and natural and authentic. You understand? Your opinion of me has absolutely nothing to do with who I am. I know that because of what I do, because I'm a teacher, I have a responsibility. But my first responsibility is to God. My second responsibility is to my true, authentic voice. And then y'all get a vote. See, most people are saying, most people are saying, my responsibility is to my job and to my boss. I work for God Incorporated. I work for God Incorporated.
What is your foundation?
Yes.
And your strength.
Yes.
Moving forward, you're here in the UK. You are connecting with a number of people here in the UK. I'm sure you have a message or messages for those people. Mm-hmm. Do you prepare or do you just open yourself up for God?
I am on the other side of 50, baby. Even if I were to prepare, I probably wouldn't remember where I put the paper. That was amazing to me when I first read, I can't remember, what am I doing? Walk in one room and say, why am I here? And then I have to go back to the other room to try to remember, what did I go in that room for? I find it absolutely hysterical. So I take my ginkgo biloba when I remember. I can't remember to take the memory improving drug, but it's all wonderful. I just love life and I love people.
I can tell you embrace life.
I love people. I really do. We are crazy.
That's part of the fun though, isn't it?
I know, but we take ourselves so seriously.
There's something about living life to the full and just truly living true to God, to self. And when we do that, life takes on a complete new meaning.
It does. I've been very, very fortunate. I've been very, very poor. I've been very, very wealthy. I've been revered and honored and loved and trusted. I've been despised and talked about. I think that when I lost my daughter, it's been 5 years now, I would have given anything. I would have given all the money that I had. I would have given, my teeth, my breast, my being. I would have given everything. I would have given everything to save her, and I couldn't. So what her transition taught me was what really matters. And what really matters for me is my relationship with God. Because there was nothing a man could do for me. There wasn't enough money in the world. I couldn't put on the right dress. There was no pair of shoes that took away the unspeakable pain of watching my child take her last breath. I would have given everything. So, when it was all said and done, I said, the only thing that got me through this sane was God. So let me focus on God. You understand? Because the men come and go. The shoes, they come and go, But it's that feeling of connection and oneness with God that has sustained me. So I can't have any false pretenses about that. God is real. God will rain on your wedding.
That's the truth.
And you can take your job, your teeth, you're going to get wrinkled and your boobs going to fall no matter what.
And that's for men as well.
Yeah, boobs fall too.
There's a question I have for you. Now, often we hear this reference to leaving a legacy. I strongly believe in living your legacy.
Yes, absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that?
Both. I want to live it and I want to leave it. Live the legacy for me means bring forward your talents, your gifts, your abilities in such a way that it touches other people's lives. I've done that. And I'm going to leave a legacy because those things that I did that God placed from my talents, my gifts, they'll be here long after I'm gone. You know, and there's only one Iyanla. There will only be one Iyanla. Now, other people may have that name, but there will only be one Iyanla for me. And the gifts that I leave behind just speak to who I am and who I was and who I will be.
And in terms of the message to those people who are listening here on Playvybz, recognizing that we are all gifted, how would you encourage a person to truly connect with their gifts, their natural gifts and talents? Because so many people don't recognize these God gifts.
They do, but they're trying to give them a paycheck. You know, they're trying to make it. You know, what my gift is talking. Yeah. My magic is in my mouth, you know? And so I never had to figure out how to make that pay me. I know my purpose is to teach. So I had to make my speaking about teaching. And it just kind of lined up. Everybody has a gift. Do what brings you joy.
That's the truth.
Do what brings you joy.
Miss Iyanla Vanzant, I understand that we are due to wrap up now, so recognizing your value, your worth, you've given some wonderful insights there to yourself, your life, your purpose. If there is one sentence you would give, you would say, you speak some words that's going to inspire people and help them to connect with themselves. You've given many, but if there are any, those chosen few words that you would give, what would they be?
So I asked the Holy Spirit, well, what is it that you would have me say in this moment to respond to what you asked and bring enlightenment to somebody? And it would be that wherever you are, that's where God is. Don't shame him.
That's the truth. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I got kissed by a man on television.
Miss Iyanla Vanzant here on Playvybz Radio.